I'm playing until I get called for dinner. Probably the only reason Labyrinth is a meta deck in Master Duel right now is because the format's best of one. I don't think it'd be as oppressive. I don't think it's that oppressive in a best of three where you can always side deck. Side decking is another reason why some decks just can't perform well in a competitive environment. Like what's Labyrinth gonna side in order to deal with potentially undesirable matchups? For against Labyrinth, it's very easy to side deck cards that can deal with Labyrinth and make the things they do completely worthless. And you know what? That's what I'm playing. Labyrinth. And also, I'm trying out Bestials here now. But I am not a fan of running a lot of hand traps and protection at all. Cause like if your entire deck is starters and the other deck is non-starters, that basically still means you brick a lot. So now that I'm trying out I'm realizing that bricking is something that really does happen with a lot of decks ultimately, huh? Due to the prevalence of hand traps.
I don't know about you guys, but when I was growing up, my family played a lot of board games. Nothing too crazy, but the big ones like Monopoly and Life and chess and stuff like that. And while I was playing those games, I realized that I never really got a chance to read those rule books while I was growing up. And the reason was that everyone that I was playing with already knew the rules, so they just kind of explained it to me as we played the game.
They're making
when I
me
was
go
younger,
first.
this was fine, because as long as I'm only playing against other
Scary.
people using these same rules, it doesn't really matter how
I'm probably fighting against Tenpai or something.
However, when I grew up and I started playing
But there are actually a lot of other decks.
houses, I realized that a lot of the concrete
That's very good.
I thought these games had were actually house rules that only my family used. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing, by the way. People make rule changes all the time when they're playing with a family. Maybe you make the game shorter so you can actually finish it. Maybe you take out some of the more complicated parts for the younger kids. But eventually, you reach a point where you're playing these games with more and more new people in different situations, and you want to know how the game actually works. So I did read the rule book. Suddenly, I finally knew how these games were intended to be played by the game makers. And I think for a lot of people, they went through a similar thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! I know I did. So I think people that played Yu-Gi-Oh! Back then learned how to play from 3 different areas. Maybe they watched the anime, which obviously had lots of cheating, and that's how they learned how to play. Maybe they played a Yu-Gi-Oh! Video game, which is mostly fine. Besides the very old games, they mostly follow the rules of the physical trading card game, and that's okay, but then you might have a challenge when you play the physical trading card game, because now nobody is telling you what you can and cannot do.
Let's see here.
Obviously, it's not going to let you cheat because it is an automatic simulator. It's only going to let you make plays that you can actually make. And finally, a lot of people learn how to play Yu-Gi-Oh!
I want to learn something about the rules.
Game. There is nothing wrong with any of these choices on how you want to learn how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! But at the end of the day, when you're playing a game and you want to play it for real, you really should sit down and spend the 30
Okay, yep, no, it was negated.
read
special summoning it again isn't going to do
It's a
anything.
very complicated game. There are plenty of other resources besides the book that you probably should take a look at. Konami has posted tons of articles and
I've got nothing.
and stuff like that. But
Those two hand traps
you probably
fucking killed
should
me.
read the rulebook if you want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I remember a while back I saw a guy comment and he said, if I have to read a rulebook to play a game, then the game is not designed very well. And that really doesn't make any sense to me as someone
No,
who
that's
plays
fucking
a lot of
stupid.
tabletop games. You really should read the rulebook to understand how a game works. I say all this because I'm in several judge groups and I read my own comment section and I see these same basic rulings come up over and over again. And asking for help is totally fine. You know, if you
Dude,
have
you're playing a
question,
board game. You
ask it, but a lot of
read.
these rulings are in the rulebook and they aren't that hard to find. Even if you don't want to read the entire rulebook,
Yeah, I knew it. They're playing Tenpai.
You feel like you're pretty comfortable with the game at this point, I think just skimming through the end of the rulebook can be very helpful. I'm not going to read the entire rulebook in this video, obviously that would take a long time, although maybe I could do that for a joke video sometime, but in today's video for the rest of the discussion, I want to talk about 5 rulings that I see come up over and over again in my own comment section and in judge groups that are actually in the regular rulebook. The cool thing here is that the rulebook itself is available online for free on the Yu-Gi-Oh website, so you don't have to pay any money for it. You can just go and read it. Oh, and by the way, I'm using version 10, the most recent version of the rulebook for this video, so if you have an older version, even though many of these things are still the same in the older versions, they might not be on the exact same pages. For example, on page 55 of the rulebook, which is actually the last page in the rulebook, it says tributing is sending a monster you control to the graveyard. You contribute a face-up or face-down monster unless otherwise specified. Tributing a monster is one possible
It is very
cost
easy
for
to
summoning
deal with
a
this.
monster or activating an effect. A monster sent to the graveyard by tributing is not treated as destroyed. All of these things get asked constantly. With the first sentence there, I see people asking things like, hey, why can Decode Talker not tribute my opponent's monsters? Or why can Enemy Controller not tribute my opponent's monsters? Well, it's because in the rulebook it specifically says that tributing has to be sending a monster you control to the graveyard. Cards that can tribute opponent's monsters will say something like tribute all monsters on the field, like with Nibiru, or tribute an opponent's monster with Monarch Stormforth. It has to say that specifically. As for the second sentence, where it says that you can tribute a face-up or face-down monster, this comes into play in a few different cases. A lot of people get confused about why a card like Icarus Attack can tribute a face-down monster, but a card like Aqua Mirror Cycle has to target a face-up water, even though it doesn't say face-up, and it is because of what it says in the rulebook. When you're targeting a water monster, even though it doesn't say
anyway, we're blind going second against.
We know because of the rulebook that because you're not tributing it, it does have
really
to be face up to check if it's a water monster. Another question that I get asked a lot is why can't you use Gale Dogra to send an extra deck monster to the graveyard and then revive that extra deck monster with Monster Reborn? And that once again is answered in the rulebook. On page 25, it is talking about
they don't have any ways to. Yeah, let's just play this.
Monsters can also be special summoned onto the field through the effect of another card. This is different from special summon monsters. You cannot use a card effect to special summon those monsters from your hand, deck, or graveyard unless it was properly summoned first. For example, if a synchro monster is sent from your extra deck to the graveyard without being synchro summoned, you cannot use a spell card to special summon it from the graveyard because synchro monsters have to be properly special summoned first before they can be special summoned by another card's effect. Notice here how it does not mention that you can't special summon these cards from your extra deck, which is why cards like Waking the Dragon or Starlight Road work. But this is why when you use Starlight Road to special summon Stardust Dragon and then you tribute the Stardust Dragon for its effect, it cannot revive itself in the end phase because it still has not been properly synchro summoned. There are plenty of token summoning cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! That have been viable throughout the game's history, and anytime one of those token summoning cards is in the metagame, there are always tons of questions about how tokens work. On page 49 of the rulebook, there is an entire section dedicated to token monsters. I'm not going to read all of this, but the final two sentences are very helpful. First, tokens cannot be used as Xyz material.
Oh my
and second,
goodness,
tokens
why?
on the field are treated as normal monsters. Over the years, I've seen hundreds upon hundreds of questions about token monsters, and pretty much all of it can be answered in this section. The Xyz material thing is constantly asked in judge groups, and I know that if you haven't read the rulebook, maybe it's not super intuitive, and the normal monster thing does come up every once in a while. Tokens have many weird rulings, but many of them are answered right in the rulebook. I will mention here that I do wish the rulebook had more information for newer players about problem-solving card text. I do feel this is one of the most important aspects of modern Yu-Gi-Oh, but there are at least articles elsewhere about it. But there is one thing that is very important in the rulebook that deals with problem-solving card text, and this is on page 52. It says, card effects are sometimes separated with a colon and or semicolon. Text before the colon gives information on conditions to activate the effect and timing on when it happens. Text before the semicolon is what you do when the effect is activated. Text at the end of a sentence after all colons and semicolons is what you do at the resolution of the effect. You can see here that it explains that before the colon is the activation condition and timing, before the semicolon is the cost of the card, what you have to do to use it, and then everything afterwards is what happens when the card actually resolves. This is probably not the best way to explain this part of problem-solving card text to a new player, but overall it is a pretty good basic way to explain colons and semicolons in Yu-Gi-Oh, and obviously it should probably mention that you should check their website because over the years they have posted tons of great articles on problem-solving card text. And finally, on page 48, we can learn about turn players' priority. This is actually a very relevant section. It's very helpful, but one of the most important parts is that it mentions the turn player always starts with priority, or the choice to activate a card first, in each phase or step of their turn. As long as the turn player has priority, the opponent cannot activate cards or effects except for effects that activate automatically, like trigger or flip effects. The turn player can either use priority to play a card or activate an effect, or pass priority to the opponent so they can activate an effect. This does come up maybe more than you would imagine. For example, if it's my turn and you have a Psyframe Lord Omega, I can do something first before you take a card out of my hand with the Omega effect because I have turn player priority. Now in some cases that might just be playing or setting my best card before you rip a card, but in other cases it might be I can kaiju your Omega before you have a chance to take a card out of my hand. It's not the same as old school priority, that was an entirely different thing, but turn player priority still does exist, and it is very important to know if you want to play modern Yu-Gi-Oh! I really think this information is important if you are someone that has never read the rulebook but you do play online, or if you plan on playing at in-person events when they open up again. Maybe just spend like 30 minutes going through the rulebook, at least reading the last section in the rulebook, because there is a ton of valuable information in this thing. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I'll see you later. Goodbye.
I've already lost.
Alright, now I don't know about you, but a big part of my childhood was getting hurt on a daily basis. Over the years, I've suffered many a childhood injury because, well, I was a stupid little kid that made stupid decisions. But I'm sure I'm not the only one, right? I mean, we've all attempted to bunny hop over one of our friends before, out in the middle of the street, for fun, right? Remember? Well, today, in honor of being a stupid little kid, I'd like to go over 3 prominent injuries that I suffered as a child in no particular order. Number 1. Now, if you guys weren't sliding down your stairs with a sleeping bag when you were a kid, I don't know what the fuck you were doing with your life. To me as a child, there was no cheaper adrenaline rush than going 0 to 60 down 14 steps in your living room. And sure, I'd get hurt. I'd get hurt all the time. But it didn't matter because that fucking staircase would call out to me all the time. Hey, you little 8-year-old bitch, I bet you can't slide down my ass with your fucking Steve Urkel sleeping bag. Come on, bitch-ass stairs, I'm not afraid of you. You're on. Now, sliding down the stairs with a sleeping bag is all well and fine, but if you were a real motherfucker, you went down the stairs in a laundry basket like a fucking professional. Now, I've only attempted this feat one time in my childhood, and that was with my dumbass friend Michael at his house. And keep in mind, we did this shit for fun. We did not do this on a dare. There was no money involved. There was no fucking crew there recording us. Hi, Tyler from Bruce New Films. Welcome to Jackass. No, just 2 kids, a laundry basket, and a dream. That's all we needed. I mean, we did have adult supervision, alright? We weren't complete maniacs. We had fucking Michael's drunk-ass stepdad passed out in the living room. It'll be fine. And then this little stunt was gonna work flawlessly. We were gonna maneuver this Kmart laundry basket down a flight of steps, maybe do a fucking victory wheelie on the bottom landing, then probably pop champagne bottles in the
put
winter circle
Ariana in
of the
attack
goddamn
position?
laundry basket classic. But instead of that happening, well, something like this happened.
Am I a fucking idiot?
We crashed onto the landing like we're on the ass end of a Home Alone booby trap. The laundry basket explodes on impact. Michael's stepdad wakes up and he's like, "Oh shit, you boys alright? Somebody call 911. Nah, I'm just kidding, that didn't happen. His ass is so drunk he didn't fucking wake up when we fell down the stairs. Piss off, officer, I'm fine, I only had 2 beers. But if he had woken up, he would have woken up to the scene of 2 broken children at the bottom of a staircase. Not only did I bite the shit out of my tongue on the way down, but I fucked my right shoulder up 6 different ways to Sunday. Now, did I dislocate my shoulder? Did I possibly break my clavicle in half? I have no idea, because I didn't tell anybody about it afterwards. All I know is that my shoulder fucking hurt for multiple months afterwards, and I lost a good 12 miles an hour off my Little League fastball. Hell, even today as an adult, if I wipe my ass too quickly on the toilet, I get a sharp pain in between my fucking shoulder blades. Goddamn laundry basket bullshit! But hey, whatever. No severe damage done, I guess. Kids will be kids, right? Kids will be kids. Well, if slinging yourself down the family staircase isn't your idea of fun, well, let me tell you about another little stunt that we do as kids. This little stunt involves the bike with pedals. And what we like to do as children, somebody would ride the bike as fast as they could. Kids sat on the skateboard and held on to the pegs for dear life and tried their best not to eat shit on the fucking asphalt. Yeah, what a rude time that was, huh? This was a goddamn game that we played all the time. It was a game that we called Hang On to the Pegs.
Maybe I should
Until You
fight
Die.
out a mirror force or something against 10
Of course, we
fight.
didn't have any helmets or knee pads or fucking adult supervision. I mean, aside from the neighbors watching us through their window and shit. Oh, honey, come here, quick! There's a bunch of dirty little kids doing Evel Knievel shit out in the street. Well, on one particular day, while we were outside playing the Hang On to the Pegs Until You Die game, or Hot Pike, if you will, I was determined to set our all-time neighborhood record. Now, what that record was, I have no idea. I don't know if it was distance or time spent on the skateboard or whatever the fuck. All I know is I was like, y'all better save your pennies for that big-ass holographic Guinness Book of World Records, because I'm about to be on the cover of that bitch. Now, my friend David was the one that was on the bike during this little fiasco, and I don't know if he was just feeling ambitious or if he just skipped his fucking Ritalin that day or what, but his ass started pedaling like he just robbed a goddamn liquor store at knife point. The skateboard starts shaking, doing that death rattle thing that happens when you're going way too fucking fast on a skateboard. You can hear a goddamn sonic boom echo out throughout the neighborhood and shit. The entire time I'm like, David, stop! Stop, David! Stop the goddamn bike! I'm gonna fucking die! But David on that day did not stop. Because David apparently was trying to break the goddamn land speed record on a fucking Huffy BMX bike. Well, next thing you know, the skateboard hits a pebble out in the middle of the street, and I go skittering throughout the road like a fucking poorly animated cartoon. Now, I don't know if you've ever slid to a stop on asphalt using nothing but your face and hands before, but it's not as fun as it sounds. One side of my face was completely scraped up, covered in road rash, but the palms of my hands were even worse because, well, I didn't have any fucking palms in my hands anymore. They were lying 14 feet behind me in the middle of a fucking street. Now, it's worth noting that this all happened just a few days
That being
prior
said, there
to the
isn't
school
much
picture day.
Labyrinth can
Well,
do
you can
against
bet your ass that year,
Senpai.
I didn't fucking go to picture day. The hell with that, what's the point? I'm gonna have my picture taken when I look like the fucking district attorney of Gotham City, for fuck's sake? No thank you. But hey, whatever. No severe damage done. Kids
Hilarious.
will be kids and all that shit, right?
Hilarious.
Number 3. Alright, now this last childhood injury happened a very long time ago. It was way back when my dad would take me with him to go play pickup basketball games at the park. Yeah, that's right, back in the day, my dad was basically fucking Woody Harrelson's ass in the movie White Men Can't Jump. What a time to be alive. Well, while him and Wesley Snipes would be on the court hustling the shit out of people for money, my little ass would be hanging out in the playground. And it was during one of these sessions on the playground.
Why are they
where I was
thinking
top of
on
the
my
jump with
turn?
him, doing kid shit, minding my own business, when all of a sudden some punk-ass kid from down below starts talking shit to me. Hey, you up there! You're a fucking fart knocker. How do you like that shit? Now, first, I was just confused, because I had no idea who this kid was, or why he was throwing out unsolicited fart knocker insults all willy-nilly. But this little freckled fuck just kept going on and on and on. Yeah, I'm talking to you, you dick toucher. You like to touch all the gross dicks, don't you? So I lean over the railing and look down, and I'm like, hey, motherfucker, the only dick I touch is my own, you piece of shit. Or whatever the hell I said. Look, I don't have the exact transcript of this conversation, all right? It doesn't matter what was said. What matters is, 5 seconds later, I lean a little too far forward, and I accidentally fling myself over the rail. So I plummet 15 feet to the ground, and I crack the back of my head so hard that I swear I forgot what the fuck my middle name was. Well, that little freckled piece of shit thinks I just died on impact, so he's like, sorry I said all those things about you touching dick. See you later. Now look, I'm not gonna lie here. After falling and cracking my head on the ground, I cried like a little
They
schoolboy
surrendered.
bitch.
They surrendered the entire match straight up. What? It's only Labyrinth. Why you have to... I'll play one more and then I'll switch out my deck.
Right there, fucking on the whole other side of the park, still playing basketball. So I can't be crying like a big fucking wussy crybaby. Calm down. It's pretty apparent thing that an injury of some sort. There's pretty significant ringing going on in my ears. The outside is all of a sudden a lot brighter than I remember it being. Now, did I suffer a concussion of some sort? Did I possibly fracture my fucking skull? You can tell anybody go home that day. I just pretended that nothing is what? You're hauling the shit out of the guy. The playground. Did you have fun at the playground? What the fuck is my middle name? But hey, whatever. Kids will be kids. No big deal. I was fine. Who cares if I had to fucking relearn to write my name in cursive? Not a big deal. So there you go. There's 3 childhood injuries that stand out in my mind. And if you guys like this video, well, guess what? I should probably make 2 or 3 more cartoons on the same subject because I fuck myself up on a regular basis as a kid. The end.
Ripster.com.
Toy box. They're on White Forest. Interesting. Maybe I should have big welcomed the toy box. I don't know. I don't think it matters. Let them set their toys. The White Forest children enjoy. They like their toys. Hmm. They got nothing. Hmm. Hmm. Ah, piss. Should have known Chaos Angel would rear his ugly head. Oh god, do they have another? No, they can't. This guy's effect only allows for... Oh. Wait, who did they? Ah, yeah, they used the synchro. Ah. I'm a little dead. Fiend. Yes, the risk is playing in your opponent's turn. Who do we summon? Yep, they're gonna fusion summon instead. I figured they were playing Azamina cards as well. Yep, that's a pretty good pick. Celine. That's unexpected. Not surprising, but unexpected. Considering they really don't need any further extension. I guess they're worried the card I draw on turn 4 could change things. Realistically though, they kind of already won this. Ah, it was to link climb into access code. Yeah, let's just go to game 3. They're gonna murder me on battle phase. They drew two ash blossoms. What the fucking do? Why does that all? Why is it always like this? It's that big welcome, but honestly, this is a nothing board. They're gonna shoot through this very easily. Yeah, that's not gonna do it. Ah, my big booba trap waifus. They're so weak. Ugh. I can try pivoting into furniture style again, because our trap cards are very high impact. and pivoting to just have more of them rather than focusing on fucking Ecclesia. Just draw more for big impact. Cards. Runic Labyrinth, holy shit. They're playing fucking simultaneous equation cannon. They made it to top 8 with this. There's just not a lot of really strong normal traps. But my deck is lacking in this cohesion. I don't have a cohesive strategy, so it's too variable. I need to decide on a favorite strategy and just pivot on that. For now, let's play one more game. I want to play Centurion, but I think I'll play Drytron. Vanity's ruler always gets forbidden dropleted from my experience. I think my side deck really should just have purely going second answers. What Rontids never ever realistically resolves. Like the secret effect of DA Draconids is secret because it's a fucking useless effect. I kinda wanna run 3 Drytron Novas. I like running 3 Forbidden Droplets though. I don't want to give in to any of my monster cards. Maybe just play 1 Jack in the hand. This is the most consistent the deck currently is. Fucking bullshit. Another one. The best part is I know exactly that they're fucking playing Tenpai again. Alright, we need to send Drytron to the graveyard first so we don't trigger. we can't normal summon, that's just objectively a terrible idea right now. Let's just guarantee a comeback with Cyber Angel Benten. Okay. What if they're not playing Tenpai? I'm gonna put it in defense. And that's it. Any more is going to be genuinely stupid. I am not surprised. I guess they really wanted to trigger a spell. My guess is Sangan summoning. Ah, Raigeki. Unless they can hand trap me to death. Dawn Dragster. I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. Wow, I forgot Snatch Steal's legal. What? Fuck you! Yeah, man, I tell ya, people are fucking cowards here in the